Backpacking is amazing, but it's also full of ways to make yourself absolutely miserable. Today, I'm sharing 10 backpacking mistakes that I've made and I've seen other people make, so you don't have to. Stick around because a couple of these are the kind of insider tips you don't see in a lot of these beginner videos. Mistake number one, tent poles before tent stakes. Have you ever started by putting your tent poles in before your tent stakes? If so, congratulations. You've just built yourself a gigantic kite. One gust of wind, and suddenly you're sprinting across camp, chasing your home as it flip flops down the valley floor, never to be seen again. Here's how to fix it. Always stake the tent corners first before doing anything with the poles. Yes, it feels counterintuitive, and you may have to tweak the tent stake placement once or twice, but your tent will go up faster, straighter, and it won't fly away while you're fumbling with your tent poles. Mistake number two, not stashing your clothes in your sleeping bag. This one comes with a story. I was on a backpacking trip with a group of friends and a newcomer who, unbeknownst to me, layered on all of his clothes in the car before the hike when he saw the chilly outdoor temperatures. So by the time we got to camp later in the day, he had sweated through literally everything he brought. He was so tired when we got to camp that he went inside his tent and collapsed for the night. And I was like, okay, he's exhausted. I get it. But what I didn't know is that he did not stash any of his wet hiking clothes in his sleeping bag. He put them on a little line, like a clothesline, and line dried them overnight. You can guess what happened. He woke up in the morning and literally every single piece of clothing he had packed was frozen solid. Honestly, I can't tell you what this guy looks like because I did not see him come out of the tent for the next 2 days. What a bummer. But there is a fix. Instead of doing what he did, stash your sweaty, wet hiking clothes inside your sleeping bag overnight. Your body and your bag will keep them warm, help them dry, and most importantly, prevent them from freezing. Trust me, your morning self says thank you already. Mistake number three, creating a condensation disaster. Condensation inside your tent is something we've all experienced, and it can be a real mess, especially if you wake up to actual droplets landing on your jeans. So while it may seem logical to zip your doors tightly at night before you go to bed, don't do that because that is your big mistake. Condensation happens when the outdoor temp drastically varies from the indoor temp, not in hot, humid environments like so many people seem to think. Usually, inside the tent is warmer because there's body heat and all of that mouth breathing that's happening, while the nighttime outdoor temp is usually chillier. This variance is what causes condensation inside. So, here's the fix. Instead of zipping up your tent doors all the way, leave them cracked just a bit. Not all the way, you're not trying to let a bear come wandering in, but you want to leave them unzipped or cracked just enough to encourage airflow and allow a little bit of that cool air to come inside and regulate the indoor and outdoor temperatures. It may not completely prevent condensation, but it sure will minimize it so you don't wake up feeling like you're swimming in a mini pool. Mistake number four, hard to access water. We all know that packing water is crucial to a good trip, but stashing it somewhere in your backpack that you can't access while hiking, that is the big mistake. I've done this so many times. Maybe with a water bottle pocket that I can't reach thanks to my non flexible shoulders. And I always end up drinking so much less water than I should because I hate asking others for help or, God forbid, removing my backpack in the middle of the trail. And we all know dehydration makes you sluggish and cranky. So fix it. Keep your water in an easy to grab side pocket, like one you can reach, just like this. Or even better, I like a hydration bladder with a tube that comes over your shoulder so you can just sip as you walk. Or even sometimes you can find like running vests and whatnot have hydration bladders that just sit right here on your chest straps. Wherever it is, make sure it's easy to drink while on the move so you're sure to stay hydrated. Mistake number five, not prepping for your period. Ladies, let's talk about something that most backpacking videos skip, your period. Depending on where you are in life, your age, or Whether you take any type of birth control, it's very possible that your period could surprise you on the trail. And that is an absolute disaster. That has definitely happened to me. Good thing it's an easy fix. Prepare for it. I always pack a tiny kit with a few tampons, a couple baby wipes, and a Ziploc bag to carry it all out. This one tip takes away so much stress from your trip. It should be as normal as packing a headlamp. And trust me, if you need it, it is always worth it. Mistake number 6, going straight to trail running shoes. I'm not here to debate trail running shoes versus hiking shoes. To each their own, and I personally wear both. But here's what I do know. Doing your first backpacking trip in a pair of trail running shoes is probably not a great idea. While they are lighter and dry faster, they have significantly less support and durability than hiking shoes. They have mushier midsoles made from a softer foam and less lateral support, just because they are designed to move fast. None of that is inherently a problem, but it is a problem if you aren't already used to running and hiking in them. That means you don't likely have all the stabilizer muscles you need to hike safely over uneven terrain while wearing these lighter, faster shoes. And that's a bummer because it means you could get hurt, and that sucks. But the good news is that it doesn't mean you have to swear off trail running shoes forever. If you're coming from like the old school, bulky, thicker, heavier, high cut hiking boots, I'd suggest just starting gradually. Maybe meet in the middle and instead start with a low cut hiking shoe. This is going to be low cut on the ankle, just like a trail running shoe. And honestly, hiking shoes often get confused with trail running shoes because they look very similar. But the difference is they have more durable materials and they also have a more durable, firmer midsole, which is going to give you more support and more lateral torsional support. So you're less likely to roll an ankle or bang yourself up. Over time, once you get used to the hiking shoes, you can then move into the trail running shoes. But bottom line, you don't have to wear a clunky hiking boot. There is a middle ground. Mistake number 7, don't forget your load lifters. You have probably cinched up every strap on your backpack, but it still feels like it's pulling you backward, the exact opposite direction where you actually want to go. If this sounds familiar, I've got to ask, did you check your load lifters? Load lifters are the tiny straps that sit at the top of your shoulders on your backpack that pull the pack closer to your body. The longer the strap is extended, the farther away the pack sits from your core, which is going to make you really uncomfortable while hiking. So remember, hips snug, shoulder straps adjusted, then tug those load lifters about at a 45-degree angle. You'll stand up taller and hike happier. Mistake number 8 might get me yelled at, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Chasing ultralight at all costs. The appeal of super light backpacking is obvious. I mean, who doesn't want to carry nothing down the trail? Sounds pretty great, but it can come with a cost. Sometimes super experienced backpackers get so caught up in shaving grams that they forget the entire point of the sport is to, you know, actually have a good time. So, look, I am not knocking ultralight backpacking, but at a minimum, it is important to make sure you have the essentials because it sure would be embarrassing to be like, hey, look at this toothbrush I sawed in half, and then realize you don't have a rain jacket when it starts pouring rain. So, if ultralight is what you're after, focus on trimming non essentials and shaving ounces from big ticket items like your pack, your tent, or your sleeping bag first. And don't ditch safety gear in the name of saving a couple of grands. And I personally always recommend bringing a bar of chocolate, but go ahead, you do you. Mistake number 9, calculating only by miles and not terrain. We have all done it. You look at the hike description and you think, oh, 10 miles? I can bang that out before lunch. And sure you can, as long as it's 10 flat miles. But 10 mountain miles with 4K of vertical gain through a boulder field and down trees is going to be much, much tougher. One of the biggest mistakes I see is planning trips by mileage alone. You've got to remember, this is not like going for a run in your neighborhood. Instead, always look at a topo map and factor in elevation gain, altitude, and terrain. If you learn how to actually read a topo map, you can get a gauge for what you'll encounter on the trail and be better prepared. So I have a general rule of thumb when kind of calculating hiking times, and it's this: for every 1,000 feet of elevation gain, it's going to feel like you're hiking an extra mile. So if you're going 1,000 feet vertical gain up in 1 mile, I'd estimate that's going to be like hiking 2 miles. And don't forget to give yourself a buffer time because views are meant to be enjoyed, not sprinted right by. And if you've made it this far, you've made it to mistake number 10. It's a classic: overpacking. Especially when you're a beginner, it's really hard to visualize what the right packing looks like. But here is a tip: you don't need clean socks for every day, you don't need fresh underwear for every single day, nor do you need a fresh change of clothes for every single day. And yes, if you're new here, I am a total dirtbag. The list of what you probably don't need goes on and on and on and on. You may or may not need a hairbrush, and you certainly don't need a full toiletry kit. Every just in case item adds up until you're carrying your entire house on your back. So here's what you do: before you go, lay everything out, whether it's on your bed or on your floor or wherever you like to take those nice organized Instagram photos. Lay it all out, look at it, and immediately cut 2 to 3 items. I am willing to bet you have extra. If you're not sure, ask an experienced friend for help. I have seen mountain guides do this with clients, and it's amazing. They just start rummaging through their clients' packs, pulling stuff out left and right with zero remorse. Also, quick reminder that multi purpose gear is your best friend. That's going to be gear that serves more than one function when you get to camp. So don't forget to consider those items. Your back, shoulders, and future self will thank you in about 20 miles. So, which one of these mistakes have you made? Be honest, because I know that we have all done at least one of them, probably more. And if you've got a favorite lesson learned the hard way, drop it in the comments. If you like this, check out my backpacking hacks video. It's full of the tricks that actually make backpacking easier rather than harder. We'll see you out there.